The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is A Numbers Game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Hour number 2 of A Numbers Game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM channel 158. It's Gil Alexander in San Francisco this week. Kelly Bidley back at the mothership there at Circa Resort Casino, the VSiN Studios, high atop the world's largest sportsbook. You doing okay, Kelly? Lonely?
Holding it down.
So?
Yeah, I'm holding it down. I was just checking out the Circa crowd. Not as busy today because we've got late starting soccer games. It's been pretty impressive here so far through the World Cup.
Soon you will be joined by the great Bill Krakenberger, and your loneliness will dissipate in a heartbeat.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Should be fun. Zach Cohen standing by to give us some tennis plays and also talk NBA with us. Real quick, we get tweet speed of the book. Giuseppe Betta chimed back in. He said, peripatetic, not going to lie. English was never my strongest subject. Definitely had to look that one up. Brian M. Walker Kessler got moved for more because he has two hands that can be used for more than pointing fingers. Oh, is that a shot at Jaylen Brown about pointing fingers? John Balduzzi, maybe almost the same way pro players don't value rings as much as we think they should. Younger GMs now don't care about historical rivalries or conference foes with trades. Imagine the look on Charles Oakley's face if Horace Grant got traded to the Knicks. T-Pars too. Sonego gets home to start the day off on a winning note. Thank you, Gil. Let's cash the rest. Let's do it. Long way to go here. Chance Copperpot, all this hullabaloo about Stephen A and his Lakers comments. Maybe he just really likes that one movie with Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, and Rosie Perez. Can Kelly name that movie?
White Men Can't Jump. I've only seen that about 9 million times. Great movie. Great gambling movie. Are you talking? That's one of those underrated gambling movies.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I'll have to rewatch.
Yeah,
Chris Hitchcock. Chris Hitchcock, can you ask Zach about the LeBron to Denver rumors? The odds went from 70-1 to 25-1 to 5-1. Substantial movement. We will get to Zach here momentarily. Jim Campbell, I think the better way to bet Fernando Mendoza is to bet under on his passing yards. I got under 2,499.5 at minus 110. Assuming Cousins starts 6 games, Mendoza would have to average 228 plus yards per game over the 11 remaining contests. That's a creative way to do it, Jim. Mm-hmm. And then Chris Heath, so hard to cash tickets in accounts in Reno. I rolled up to a place that I thought was a William Hill, and now it's a Boomers. I can't stand how Caesars and William Hill are the same company, but they're actually not. It's a whole thing, man.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Zach Cohen, ladies and gentlemen, fighting a stomach bug. Dallin was in Charleston on vacation. He came on the show. Zach Cohen toughened through it to come on the show today as well. You can follow him on Twitter at Betting on X, part of the glue that holds this whole operation together. What up, Zach? How you doing, man? You feeling okay?
Yeah, doing a little bit better. My wife gave me this thing called Zofran, which made my nausea go away completely, at least temporarily. So that's good. She told me to take it last night. I declined like an idiot, ended up throwing up all night.
I declined like an idiot. So that we don't miss, I'm not sure when your match starts, so that we don't miss it. What is your remaining match today that you're playing?
I have Victoria Golubic to beat Jasmine Paolini. That is really just a fade on Paolini. Paolini has been really, really lousy this season and has not won back-to-back matches since back in March. So, we just have not seen her put together multiple days in a row of good tennis, and she's playing against, a solid grass court player, somebody that has, a winning record on this surface in about 50 matches in her career. And there's not a lot of grass court tennis played over the course of every year. So winning that much is actually pretty impressive. So if you see a player with 20 plus career grass court wins, that's actually a better number than you would think. So I think Paolini is a good player to fade today. I also have Jacob Fernley right now that started not going very well. And I have Anna Blinkova, which started and is going well. So hopefully the rest of the day goes pretty well. But yeah, great start to the tournament so far.
I am on Anna Blinkova with you. She just had a break point to try to break back in the second set. Didn't work out. But yeah, this is one of these things, again, for those who don't bet tennis, and Zach and I were talking a little bit about this before this segment, which is I don't really know what Zach's playing. Zach doesn't necessarily know what I'm playing. And so we land on the same player, and both of us are just like a $5 dog on Blinkova against a player who's not really good on grass, despite her name, quote unquote, recognition. It's one of these moments where you have to be able to overcome, because a lot of people who, if you don't know a sport and you say, $5 dog, There must be a reason why she's a $5 dog. The beauty of betting tennis is you have your numbers, you have some justification. You watch so much tennis. It's like, this is just completely out of whack. You got to play this. You do have a parlay for us tomorrow, right?
Yes. So there are 2 matches tomorrow that I wanted to find a way to play in some capacity. Couldn't really find the way to do it straight. So taking Barbora Krejcikova to beat Bartunkova, her fellow countrywoman, money line there. And I'm taking it with Roman Safiullin plus 2.5 sets against Joao Fonseca, and this is plus 106. Krejcikova is just like a wagon on grass. I feel like we've now seen that now. When she is healthy and she is playing well, she is really, really tough to beat. And that was pretty much on full display yesterday as she beat Mira Andreeva, who just came off a French Open title. Like, I just think that Krejcikova, who has won this tournament before, did it 2 years ago, is a really good number right now at like minus 200-ish against Bartunkova, who I do think is really good, but could be overwhelmed by the fact that she's playing someone older, someone kind of legendary in that country. That could be a tough spot for her. And Safiullin, I hope he has a little bit left in the gas because he's played some really long matches already, but just think he's a little more proven on grass courts than Fonseca is. I think Fonseca is a better player and should find a way to get the job done, but Safiullin is a good server, a powerful player. I think he's going to get at least one on the board.
Yeah, with you on the Golubic lean. I leaned Golubic. You're playing her. I almost played her. I did not, but I leaned her way against Paolini. So I love that play and couldn't agree with you more about Krejcikova. Krejcikova saved the day yesterday with that big win over Andreeva. Was on her yesterday. She is a absolute. What was the phrase you used on grass?
Wagon.
Wagon. She is a wagon on grass, former champion, of course, here as well. Who looks best to you before we move on from tennis to basketball? Who looks best to you on each side in the early going here?
Man, I don't know. I think on the men's side, like, there are reasons to think that Sinner looks terrible because his baseline game has looked atrocious and he has not started hitting his forehand in the court yet. But at the same time, I'd be scared that he is through to this point, having played as poorly as he has. And the serving is like serve bottish. He's just acing everyone. He is not giving anything up on his own serve. So I think he looks great. I think Djokovic looked really, really good against Tsitsipas yesterday. Kind of the match that shows you, like, yeah, when there's a player across the court for me that I really respect, I'm going to level up a little bit. So that kind of felt like the first announcement that maybe Djokovic's level is there in order to make a deep run at this tournament, which I need him to do. On the ladies' side, I don't know. It's tough to really say. Like, Pegula has been the player that I've had to win this tournament. So have been watching her quite a bit. I think it's been a little bit shaky, but was happy to see her advance last match. And I do just have futures all over the board. So I've just been watching a lot of those more than anything else.
Yeah, so you have Pegula to win it all. What are the other ones?
Pegula to win it all. And then I have Navarro to win quarter 3 at 16-1, which I thought was looking really dicey against Badosa in round 1, but she came back when Badosa was serving for the match, found a way to win. And now I feel like she has a really good shot because Svitolina has been eliminated. I watched Navarro beat Iga a couple of days ago. So I think that if she were to get to that match, she'd have a chance. So 16-1 was the number there. Feel really good about that. And on the men's side, I ended up taking Djokovic plus 150 to win his quarter and plus 900 to win the tournament. I think the second of those two, it's not the strongest feeling in the world. It just felt like the number was there when I am anticipating him being up against Sinner in that semifinal match. So I feel like it's a good number. I think the winner of that match would advance and win the tournament. I have De Minaur to win quarter 3 at plus 700, and I have Taylor Fritz to win quarter 4. Forget the exact number, but I had Draper too, so I lost a unit right away.
Taylor Fritz to win that quarter. I'm in California, so I don't have anywhere to bet it. It's not offshore. It's not in prediction markets that I see anyway. But Taylor Fritz to win that quarter, to me, is because I was right there with you. Draper Fritz, the winner of that first round match, probably wins that quarter. And I'll just say again, collision course between Taylor Fritz and Sasha Zverev in the quarterfinals. Taylor Fritz owns Sasha Zverev on all courts, but grass is Taylor Fritz's best. So I love that play. Good on you for having that. We'll talk NBA through into the next segment, but I just wanted to sort of start with the Jaylen Brown trade. You said you had a bit of a different viewpoint on this than most.
Yeah, so I think it's a great trade for the 76ers. Like, I can't defend the return that Boston got for Brown. I just think that the Celtics are still going to be way better than people think next year. And I was somebody that was questioning Boston as the betting favorite in the Eastern Conference before that deal. But now that they've settled into like plus 500 to win the East, 14-1 to win the NBA title, I actually think that they're a bet on team after that trade, because you look at last season, this is like a really kind of caveman way of looking at it. So I'll preface that. But 56 wins with Brown in, Tatum out. This year, you're going to have Tatum in, Brown out, but you're also going to have Paul George and you're going to have Mitchell Robinson. Paul George is not as good as his contract number, but he's also not terrible. I think that people kind of forget that he had a really strong end to last season. I think the final 10 games of the regular season, 21 points, just about 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and the shooting numbers were excellent. And then in the postseason, he was fine. Like, I just feel like this is a team that's transitioning to playing a little bit more with Peyton Pritchard on the ball, and bringing in a good kind of two-way wing in George that doesn't need the ball as much is going to be fine for them as they kind of elevate Hugo Gonzalez in the rotation, and, you know, bring in a center in Mitchell Robinson that represents a major upgrade for them, at least when he's on the court. Like, there are now major injury concerns with Boston. I won't ignore that. Tatum's an injury concern. Paul George is a red flag. Robinson has never been able to stay healthy. But the roster that I'm looking at with the Celtics should be priced a little bit differently, in my opinion.
Okay, well, let's hold that thought, because Giannis to the Heat, Kawhi to the Raptors, Jaylen Brown to the Sixers. Zach just teased a little thing about the Celtics right there. Let's get the pecking order. Let's see if Zach believes the pecking order in the Eastern Conference is correct. Or, with all of that movement, with all these star players, is the team to bet on actually not involved in any of this? That's on the other side. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You're here because you want an edge. That's what separates listeners from winners. But let's be real, mindset alone doesn't get bets home. Pros win because they've got the tools, the data, and the discipline. And now so can you. VSiN Pro gives you access to the same real-time insights the sharps use. No secrets, no fluff, just actionable info that moves markets. Tap the link and see why serious bettors are turning knowledge into profit with VSiN Pro.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This 4th of July, we're bringing back something we rarely do, a multi-year VSiN Pro subscription for 1 week only. Get 2 full years of VSiN Pro for just $299. That's access through July 2028 at nearly 70% off the regular monthly price. You'll get our NFL season betting guide, daily best bets, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app, and every betting guide. Season preview and VSiN Pro feature we release over the next 2 years. But don't wait. Special 4th of July offer disappears after July 7th. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe now to lock in 2 years of VSiN Pro for just $299. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Gil Alexander in San Francisco, Kelly Bidlin there at the Circa Studios, or the VSiN Studios, I should say, at Circa. Zach Cohen, kind enough to join us once again to discuss National Basketball Association trades and how he feels about futures here. You can follow Zach on Twitter at BettingOnX. By the way, Zach, are you like, I know you're not a soccer guy, but are you wound up in the Team USA in the World Cup like everybody else?
I watch Team USA because I do support Fulham during the Premier League, and there are 2 players from one that was formerly on Fulham and Tim Ream, and then one that's currently on Fulham and Jedi Robinson. So I do support Team USA quite a bit. But yeah, it's been really fun. Every single game that I've watched has been incredible. I don't know why I don't follow it like completely, but yeah, fascinating tournament.
Wait.
All right.
Wait. We support Team USA because they have 2 players from Fulham?
Yes. Yep. That is, you caught that correctly.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I've never felt that connected to Team USA or anything. This gives me a reason.
Zach, are you an American?
Yeah,
are you an American, or are you more of a Fulham? So if Fulham is my that's stupid. If Fulham fought the United States in a war, would you be on Fulham's side? Is that what you're telling us?
That's what he's saying, Gil. Yeah,
maybe,
that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the NBA.
Who's going to win the war?
Pecking,
I'll be on the winning side.
The pecking order in the East we were looking over earlier. Knicks, short shot. I don't know if you know this, Zach. Defending NBA champions. Let that sink in. Knicks are there. And then it's the Celtics. And then it's the Celtics are around 4-1, give or take, right? Plus 425 we showed earlier at DraftKings. Sixers are all the way down at about 8-1. Giannis's Heat, 6th short shot in the Eastern Conference. Do you feel the order is correct in the East?
I don't. I think that the order, I think it always should have been the Knicks at the top, by the way. Once they won the NBA championship, I don't know why they were not considered the favorites in the Eastern Conference. I understood it for a few days when like maybe Boston was going to go out and get Giannis. Once they did not get Giannis, the fact that the Celtics kind of stayed there at the top didn't make a lot of sense to me. My order right now in terms of what I'm expecting next season is Knicks, Raptors, Celtics, and then I'd go Sixers over Heat right now. Pistons, I don't think should be 4. I feel like they've had a terrible offseason, and I feel like there might be like a 10-win drop coming and an early exit in the playoffs.
So you said the Raptors second. So you feel the Kawhi trade of all of them is the most impactful then?
I do. I feel like Brandon Ingram is a negative player. I've always been a fan of his. I think he's a great scorer. He has good size, but defensively he's always been a minus on the floor. And then offensively, he's always been, kind of a one-note scorer that doesn't make his teammates better. Bringing in Kawhi, one of the best two-way players in the NBA, just fill that spot felt like a massive, massive upgrade. And I feel like that's a team that just played great defensively last year. They were tied for 5th in the league in defensive EPM. I feel like they've just gotten better in adding in Leonard. And if you look at that front court that will close games with Leonard, CMB, and Barnes, it's going to be really tough to score on those guys. So I feel like there's a chance that they also go out and improve their roster. But even as of right now, I think that they are the second best team in the East.
Completely agree.
You were saying,
I completely agree with Zach because I don't know if I'm going to agree with much further down the list, but yes, Knicks won. I think you said it perfectly, Zach. I didn't really understand that either when the Celtics were kind of hovering above them, even though we knew they were kind of out on Giannis. It would be Raptors number 2 for me as well. I think after that is where it starts to get interesting. I would go, I just wrote quickly, Knicks, Raptors, 76ers, Celtics, Heat.
Okay. Can I tell you why I don't think that the 76ers should be above the Celtics?
Please.
They have no bench. It's the 5 guys still. And last year they ran into a major problem against New York where they just got completely dominated in their bench minutes and they just had to play their starters so much because they had no one they could rely on. They do have, now a month or 2 to try to figure this out and bring in some decent, role players they can rely on in the postseason. But as of right now, you're looking at that starting 5 of Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, Wade, Embiid. And then it's like, if LeBaron Philon is ready, then he's your 6th man and he's your best bench player. After that, I don't trust a single other player on the team to play a minute in the postseason, not one. So I don't know what else they're going to be able to do. They have a couple of exemptions. I know that they're trying to maybe get LeBron James. Like that almost feels like something that needs to happen for them to be a title contender more than like, oh, it would be nice if that happened. Like they need a player that can either start or be like a heavy bench minutes player to come in and play for really cheap. And as of right now, that really looks like the only option. Maybe like later in the offseason, we see someone like DeRozan become available and he's enticed by that opportunity. But I don't see where they're getting bench minutes from right now.
This is kind of the Heat's problem too, right? It's a body count issue. Not that body count, people. You know what I'm talking about. There's just not enough bodies to go around right now. So that you just don't know how that team is going to be fully formed. I'm curious, Zach, because when we talked about this before this spate of trades, when we talked about the East, the best value, and I believe this came from you, was the Indiana Pacers. Is it still true that while all of this is going on, the sneaky, freaky brother sneaking in from the rear is the Indiana Pacers in this conference?
Yeah, I still think so. And they also made like a sneaky good move in adding Kelly Oubre Jr. yesterday. Like they just continue to add depth and they do it in a cheap fashion. That team is really just going to be like, is Tyrese Halliburton healthy and playing like Tyrese Halliburton or not? Because everyone is back that you would want back from that championship team or that finals runner up. And I think that they've upgraded the center position significantly. So yeah, I still view them as a legitimate contender. I think that the list of teams in the East this year that can win the East. I mean, look, the Knicks ended up dominating last year. So the group of 4 that I had last season ended up not even being great. But that group of teams that can win the East, is definitely a little bit bigger, and I think the Pacers are in it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a much deeper conference this year, right? And I don't think I think at least at this time, we're not as confident in the top of the board, right? Maybe being as great than the rest. But yeah, I mean, we put up that graphic. I mean, at this time last year, we were sitting here talking about the Orlando Magic a whole lot. And there's not much that's changed with that roster either. So yeah, I think you could easily make an argument for almost, what is that, 10 teams? 10 teams in the Eastern Conference this year? It's wide open.
Yeah,
always
I'd rather the Pacers
and
the Cavs.
Always talking ball on Twitter says the same as I. Says everyone is just discounting the Pacers once again. A lot of people feel that way. A year removed from the Tyrese Halliburton Achilles injury.
Feels like
last
they could
thing
have been
here,
a good
Zach.
Jaylen Brown destination, but you know.
He's just such a hard player to, you know how people are like, oh, he's a good fit here. He's a good fit here. I don't know that Jaylen Brown is a good fit anywhere the way that I see it. Like, I just don't feel like he seamlessly enters another team. In other words, because I just don't think he makes other players better. That's just my opinion.
So I agree with that point, Gil, where I think a guy who scores 28 points per game, you can fit in anywhere. That's the only thing. I does as far as making the other guys better.
Does that make you win championships though? It really, I mean, it's like, that's the whole thing with basketball. Last thing before you go, Zach, we were talking off air a little bit about this. Back to the Celtics. You had an interesting stat on Peyton Pritchard, which might lead to a bet for you.
Yeah. So last year in 861 minutes that Pritchard played without Jaylen Brown, these are per 75 possession numbers, 26.7 points, 7.6 assists, 5.3 rebounds, true shooting percentage, 60.6%. So he looked like an elite offensive engine when he played without Jaylen Brown, and 861 minutes is a pretty big sample size. I feel like there's a really good chance that a lot of that went into this move is that they believe in Pritchard taking a major leap as their on-ball creator. And I know that that's something that was echoed by Yahoo's Tom Haberstroh, is really good with numbers as well. I feel like this is somebody that can really make a major step forward next season. And what I would do with this is like, look, I do think the Celtics are going to be better or are really, really good than people think. But I do think that this is potentially something to keep in mind when most improved player pops up, because we've seen over the years, and Kelly knows this better than I do, like this award goes to players that go from good to great, not like mediocre to good. And if Pritchard makes that type of leap and those numbers aren't lying in any way, I feel like there's a chance he's in the conversation.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Kelly, we've been talking about this since primetime action, most improved, going from good to great. We've had a couple exceptions, though, recently, right? Or at least one.
Oh, Dyson Daniels. Yeah. Don't be, yeah. Let's not talk about that.
That was the defensive
sweet
player of the
Kate
year
Cunningham ticket I had. Yeah.
Sorry to have brought that up. Apologies. I like it. Pritchard, whenever MIP comes up, let's hope for the best number there. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it very much. Hope you feel better.
Thanks, guys.
Zach Cohen, everybody. Betting on X and all his stuff on the website at vsin.com. Coming back on a numbers game right here.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Hey, don't sleep on the sharp plays, unmatched transparency with records updated daily, AI betting analysis, real-time global betting info, and alerts directly from the pros. Scan the QR code on your screen for more information. Sharpplays.com. Gil Alexander coming to you from San Francisco this week. We get tweets, nonetheless, best listeners in all of radio history. I mean that. Jared Still. I am actually able to listen live today for a little while, and I had a passing thought. What's wrong with Gil? Sounds under the weather. Then I heard Zach and realized it's my podcast speed setting, LOL, as you were. Thank you very much. Yes. 1X is usually the way to do things. 3Jacques, H3131. Hey, Gil, let me ask you something. What do you think Nick Cannon's body count is? Well, based on the evidence, based on the evidence in front of us, it's clearly double digits. Who knows? Maybe triple. I don't know. Maybe he's, potent. Buddhist Man, talking about the white men can't jump reference from earlier.
Yeah.
He says it's a very underrated soundtrack as well. I'm looking at the song list. I see a lot of big artists, but I can't recognize one song by any of them.
I don't remember the soundtrack, Buddhist Man. I'll tell you that.
Jesse Johnson did a song for the White Men Can't Jump soundtrack. Wow. What do you know about Jesse Johnson, Kelly?
Nothing. I love that movie. That's actually one of my, like, I don't want to say favorites, but like, because I think it's considered a meh movie, right? Like an average movie. I don't think it's considered anything great, but I like it better than most. It's one of those under the radar great gambling movies. I love gambling movies that nobody talks about being gambling movies because it's all them just hustling playing basketball. It's all about that. It's what the whole movie's about.
Well, it's funny. As you said that, I'm like, gambling movie. And then I'm like, oh, of course. The whole thing is basically a gambling movie. Tennis update. Hit our first 2 in the morning. On the men's side, Lorenzo Sonego is a winner. Zachary Svajda is a winner. Those are 2 dog plays that are already home. Now we are awaiting the big one here, which is, it's tough. Anna Blinkova was up a set as a $5 dog against Marta Kostyuk. She loses the second set. She was up a break in the third set, and now she's facing a break point herself. So I don't know if that's getting there. Rakhimova down a break early in the first set in the other women's match. Matteo Berrettini, though, up a set. Interestingly, the men going splendidly this morning. Right now up a set over Artur Fils. Obviously a long way to go, but 2-0 already in the books. Svajda plus 150 dog, Sonego a plus 103 dog. So we'll see which others we can get home as well.
You know what, Gil?
Only Grigor yet to start.
Let's go, Grigor. Is Aisa in attendance? Hopefully. I'm sure she is. Isa, I don't even know how to say her name.
That's right.
You know what I've been trying to figure out for an hour and a half what Svajda was reminding me of, and it finally just hit me. It's Goldmember and Austin Powers. I was like, every time Gil keeps saying this name, I'm like, something's ringing in my ear, and that's what it is. I finally just figured it out. It was starting to bug me.
My Faja?
Yeah. Remember that whole scene? Yeah. Faja.
Yeah.
Every time you say his name, I was like, what is this reminding me of?
There was my Faja, and then what was the... didn't he have his part of his criminal mind? What was that substance he was using? It's also a word that sounds like Svajda.
Oh, I don't remember. I just remember the smoking a pancake, the bong and a blintz, that part.
Smoking a pancake. Goldmember, you look tight. Aaron Bender on Twitter. Question, if you get a tip on a bet from a friend but don't play it, do you root for the bet to win or lose? Oh, this is a great question. It's kind of like a crack question for later.
Yeah.
If you get a tip on a bet from a friend but don't play it, do you root for the bet to win or lose? I always root for it to win. It's my friend. Just because I didn't play it. I'll tell you the ones that the reverse psychology happens on is, again, like I'll have tennis leans, right? Double digits worth of them early in a slam like this. And inevitably, I won't play all of them. Those I root for to lose, right? Which is completely irrational because I should be rooting for them to win because it will corroborate my numbers and will make me feel more confident about my numbers. But those, I will agree with you, I kind of secretly root for them to lose. But if it's my buddy giving me a tip and I don't play it, man, I want him to win.
Completely same page as you, Gil. Yeah, if it's a friend, I'm just going to root for them. I'm not always going to tell everything, but yeah, I'm going to be rooting for that. What this reminds me of is I always say this could be a good topic for crack too. It's the video poker psychology, Gil. It's when I'm sitting at a machine and I'm playing it for a while and I'm getting my ass kicked and I'm like, okay, it's time to get up and move from this machine. And I go to another one to start playing, and then someone sits down at that machine you were just at. Nowadays I get up and just walk away completely because I can't see that person sit down and hit something big because I'm going to lose my mind. I know that.
Yeah. I can see that for sure. All right. You know about our monthly wins. By the way, we are now 1 day into July. If the monthly market was thus the day market, the Chicago Cubs would be July 1st champions. They won yesterday by 20 over the Padres. By the way, I have the Red Sox. Red Sox are 0-1 out of the gate. Of course, there was at least one tweet from some idiot like, "Great start, Gil." I'm like, okay, you might be the dumbest person I've ever witnessed. But we do talk about beyond the monthlies. We always talk at the beginning of the month about the race to 10 wins. So the race to 10 wins in July is something you can bet at DraftKings. And by the way, for all that we, take down books for dumb stuff they do, Good on them for having this market,
Yeah,
man.
it's
People
awesome.
love this kind of stuff, short runways. So yesterday there were 14 games, which means we have 14 1-0 teams, and then there were 2 teams that didn't play. I want to say it was the Mariners and the Angels. So that's 16 teams that are eligible for this currently after the very first day. The Brewers are the correct short shot. Let's just start there, Kelly. Plus 370. The Brewers won yesterday, so they're 1-0 out of the gate. But as we talked about when we were analyzing the monthly market, the Brewers' schedule makes you think that this team is capable of, getting to 10 wins before any other team. Here's who the Brewers take on. They're playing Cincinnati again today. Then it's 3 at Arizona, 5 at St. Louis, some makeup games in there, 3 at Pittsburgh, 3 versus Miami. Again, this is not the last undefeated. This is the race to 10. So with that schedule, and we went over this again with the monthly, Arizona's not as good as their record indicates. St. Louis is not as good as their actual record indicates. Pittsburgh is actually a little better than their record indicates, even after Paul Skeens got roughed up again yesterday, which is a whole nother sidebar story. But I think race to 10, Brewers to me is the play. It's interesting that the Braves are the second shot, Kelly, because remember in my monthlies, it was Braves 3, Brewers 2, and then the one I went with, the Red Sox, because they were 80-1. And the Brewers were 5-1 and the Braves were plus 550. I agree with the Braves being the second shot, just like I had them third versus Milwaukee second in the monthly. So the Braves schedule here early on. 1 more versus St. Louis today. Braves are 1-0. Then it's 4 versus the Mets. Then it's 3 at Pittsburgh. Then it's 3 at St. Louis. So I would be a big proponent of either of those 2 teams. I don't go past that. That's correctly priced to me, but those are still very generous prices here, only 1 day into the month.
Yeah, this is interesting because what I did is as soon as Danny popped this graphic up over in preview, and I go Dodgers 12-1. We're 1 day in. I can get 12-1 on the Dodgers and anything. Pulled up. Okay, yeah, their schedule's pretty tough. The one that's jumping out to me, Gil, Phillies 9-1. You've got. I already got a win, so it beat Pirates yesterday, right? You got Pirates again today here this morning. 3 against the Royals, 3 against the Reds, and 3 against the Tigers. Yes, all on the road. But that one, you don't like that one at all?
Not as much based on the schedule. I'll tell you where it gets interesting, though, because, again, race to 10 wins, you can still afford losses. It's still enough of a runway here where you're just kind of betting on the best team with the easiest schedule. The last undefeated, though, Kelly, sort of segueing to what you were from what you were talking about just there. This is a little different because I think the last undefeated, I think you do take a longer shot on principle, right? This is just what team's going to have a 0 in the loss column the last.
Right.
And on this one, I don't know. I think you probably do take a look at a team, like the Braves at 13-1 or the Brewers at 18-1. You will see that they are way longer here because their schedule's easy, but it's probably tough to get through undefeated. I still think, though, that these prices make you go towards those 2 teams. I was very surprised that these markets reflected that. They're like, oh, wow, no, this makes sense. They should be this long. I think they're a little longer than they should be. So I would still gravitate towards those 2 teams. Phillies are too short in both, in my opinion, getting back to your point.
Okay, gotcha. I almost lost it here because I was like, the Dodgers didn't even make the page, but they lost yesterday. So
they lost.
Already eliminated from this competition.
That's right. Lost to the Athletics by 6 yesterday. First day of July, Major League Baseball. Remember, only 10 days till the All-Star break. So the Midsummer Classic will be upon us very quickly. Let's recap the best bets on the show. Crack is next after that on A Numbers Game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Well, I got good news and I got bad news on the tennis. 2-0 to start the day after a after a first 3 days of Wimbledon that were not nearly as great as our grass court season has gone. But a 2-0 to start the day. The $5 dog ain't going to get home. Anna Blinkova losing in the third set to Marta Kostyuk 5-1. So that is not looking good. On the good news side, Matteo Berrettini up 2-0 against Artur Fils as a $2 dog. We've already hit Svajda at plus 150 and Sonego at plus 103. So things looking great on the men's side, with Grigor Dimitrov still to come. Not so great on the ladies' side, but it was a $5 dog play. So we gave it a run.
Yep.
We get tweets beating the book. Bobby Getty's been said before, but got to say it again. Imagine not liking sports. It's so true, man. Team USA, all these great World Cup soccer matches that are ending in PKs, tennis, baseball, football on the horizon. Imagine not liking sports. It's so true. Ice Goon, with Gil not in the studio, does that mean Kelly and Crack will be in a studio at the same time? Yes. If so, what is the over-under on how long it takes for a UFC-like battle between the two of them? I say before the end of segment 1, who's the betting favorite in that battle?
I mean, look, some newer listeners might have missed this, Gil, but I used to very much enjoy our times at the D on Thursdays when me, you, and Crack would all be at the table together. And Circus Studio doesn't allow for the same setup, so I'm excited. I'm excited to be in studio with Crack.
Do you know I don't even remember that?
Yeah.
It's so true.
Because remember, we'd sit we weren't opposite each other, right? You were to my left,
right.
And then we'd bring Crack in and all three of us would sit around the table.
Fred Leonards, my mom took me to the theater to see White Men Can't Jump back in the day. We left very soon thereafter. Mom wasn't too keen on the first 10 minutes of the film. Great movie, though. What was the first 10 minutes? I don't remember.
I honestly don't remember. I don't remember the opening scene.
Mom was like, we got to get out of here. Oh, Brendan, I didn't take any divisional monthlies. You said, who else did you take in the divisional monthlies? I didn't take any of the divisional monthlies in baseball. Oh, Johnny Brock chiming in on Aaron Bender's tweet from earlier. Aaron Bender was wondering if you get a tip on a bet from a friend but don't play it, do you root for the bet to win or lose? And I said, no, if it's a friend who's giving it to me, I root for it. But Johnny Brock is correct. He says, if said friend is super cocky about his betting ability, I will absolutely root for it to lose. Some people need to be humble. True.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
Yeah. And Bobby Getty says, oh, by the way, I take back my tweet from last week about not wanting Giannis for Jalen. Can we still make that happen? Kelly and I were talking a little bit about this off air,
right?
Which is part of the aside of the Jaylen Brown trade is, if you're Milwaukee ownership and you decided, you know what, in the end, we don't want to deal with this whole thing. This was my speculation where I was like, hey, Jaylen Brown a year from now could be like, I want out of here. I don't want to deal with that. He just dealt with Giannis wanting out. He just dealt, what's the other sport that he's an owner in that he also had to deal with somebody who wanted out. So he didn't want to deal with that with Jaylen Brown. He wanted to go with the sure thing, all the draft picks, start new. He's got to be secretly sort of smiling. Milwaukee ownership does as a collective, smiling to themselves of yeah. And as it turns out, the rest of the league wasn't really that anxious to grab him for his salary. So they must feel great about that.
It was one of the more Jimmy Haslam for the Browns, right?
Jimmy Haslam. So the Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is who I'm thinking of. Yes, thank you.
It is interesting because it was. I think that was where I was. Part of my confusion at working through all this yesterday was, man, these reports during the Giannis, sweepstakes at the end really made it sound like Boston was just a piece or two away, and Milwaukee just wanted some of their kind of younger guys thrown in, and they didn't want to commit to that. So, yeah, Gil, I think there might be a big sigh of relief because maybe Milwaukee was the only other team that was kind of high on Jaylen Brown, and they might have saved themselves there. Who knows? Guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Here are the best bets, by the way, beyond the tennis today. Which we'll review here momentarily, because again, the only tennis still to go is Grigor Dimitrov. But Iga to win Wimbledon, 10-1. In case you missed it, Iga was double parked outside, or she had a plane to catch. She dispatched Karolina Pliskova, who I believe Drew had at 125-1 to win the tournament.
Yeah,
Iga said, yeah, get out of my way. But Iga's got to take on Alex Ayala in the third round. But Iga to win Wimbledon at 10-1. when it drifted after she lost to Emma Navarro at Bad Homburg a week before. And the Red Sox, most wins in July, 80-1. By the way, let the record show again that the Chicago Cubs finished 4 wins behind the Miami Marlins at 16-10 last month. People were giving me a lot of incoming on the pick of the Cubs last month. If it weren't for the Marlins, man, we were in play the whole time. But the Marlins set a 15-month record in Major League Baseball, at least as long as we've been tracking these markets, for the best record in any month in the last 2.5 years, 20-6. Unbelievable.
That was
Kelly,
also the most wins the Marlins have ever had in any month in the history of their franchise. That was pretty incredible.
And it deserves repeating, 0 people had a ticket on it, which is one thing at Circa, but just incredible to think about at William Hill Caesars with all of their brick and mortar shops.
Yeah, totally. John Deere Classic underway. Birdie Fest, we talked about it yesterday, updated the leaderboard. Lucas Glover, 7 under through 13, has a lead. I do have some first-round leader plays going today if anybody wants to get involved. These guys, none of them have teed off yet. I played actually everybody a little bit later in the day. Keith Mitchell, 35-1. Tom Kim, 40-1. Aldrich Potgieter, 60-1. AJ Ewert, 90-1. And if you're wondering, wow, Kelly, you usually don't have that many first-round leader bets. Well, these are all guys I kind of made bets on full tournament, and they just happen to be pretty quality first-round guys. So figured I'd throw them in, Gil, you know? So those are first-round leaders. I have nothing soccer today. Just to review NFL bets we talked a little bit about yesterday. Panthers under 7.5 wins I added, and then to go along with Browns under 6.5 wins and Bills to win the AFC East. Those are all in the VSiN NFL betting guide. I haven't heard you mention it all show. I haven't mentioned it all show. Any soccer that you're looking at today? I think I'm just rolling with I got a Portugal future still left for them to make the quarter, so I think I'm just going to be rooting that on. Other than that, I don't think I'm betting any soccer today, looking at this board.
Yeah, Danny was just asking me. Danny Hickens was just asking me off air if I was. It's Spain, Austria. It's Portugal, Croatia. It's Switzerland, Algeria. The draws have been so profitable, especially in the group stage. There's been some heartbreak here in the round of 32. Yesterday, the most miracle draw of all of them on the Belgium-Senegal game. I kind of am taking that as a sign that the train might be slowing down a little bit. So I don't have anything now. If I do, I might bet a draw on my own a little later on.
Bro, think about think about the combo luck me and you had on that game. You had the draw to get those goals. I had Belgium to make the quarterfinals, and then I also have that penalty kick prop over. So that was I needed both the goals for them to draw and then get to extra time, then advance on a penalty. It was incredibly lucky.
The difference between the group stage and the round of 32 on the draw strategy has been that in the group stage, it has a lot of those draws just coasted home, right? And you were like, even if you were down, if a team was up a goal, you never had any lack of confidence that it was going to end up in a draw. And so we hit tons of those. There's one day where you just hit them left and right, which was incredible. In this round of 32, it feels like it's heartbreak against us or just ridiculous luck win for us. So it doesn't have the same feel, even though we speculated that draws would probably be more likely in the round of 32 in the knockout stage period than it would be in the group stage, because the thinking is, oh, well, those players will know that they have 30 minutes of extra time to lean back on and may not press in the same way late in regulation. That hasn't been the case. Like, it's just the late goals have just now happened at a much higher rate than they did in the group stage. So nothing for me. By the way, tomorrow's even more.
I was just thinking the same thing. Yep.
Yeah.
Egypt, Australia draw early in the morning. That sounds good. But not the most exciting game to watch.
Colombia, Ghana at night. I think I'll have the draw in that. I certainly won't with Argentina and Cape Verde in the middle. That's for sure. Zach was on earlier. He's on Victoria Golubic on the ladies' side as a dog against Jasmine Paolini, plus 139. And then tomorrow at Wimbledon, he's got himself a parlay. Barbora Krejcikova and versus Bartunkova, and Roman Safiyin against João Fonseca. So it's a Krejcikova Safiyin money line parlay. Oh, actually, no, not a money line parlay. Krejcikova is the money line. Safiyin is plus 2.5 sets. So he just needs Safiyin to take one set from João to hit that parlay tomorrow from Zach. And then Dallin Cuff earlier today, speaking of the World Cup, Croatia to advance versus Portugal. Doesn't matter how they get through. He just needs them to advance, plus 233. And then Austria, Spain, under 2.5 goals. He is sitting out the Algeria game tonight against Switzerland. Crack next. It doesn't matter that I'm in San Francisco. Kelly's going to be at the desk with Bill Krakenberger, unscripted next on A Numbers Game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.